So yeah, my son coaching his football team on Saturday, fucking hot, like 95 degrees here. You know, there's, again, all 9-year-olds, right? We're a 9U team. We're really competitive. It's a lot of fun. And there's these dudes, in shape dudes, no shirts. They're working on the other side. Come home. My nephews come home with us. And one of my nephews goes, "Did you see the guys with all the tummy muscles over there?" And he was like, his eyes lit up. And my son goes, "My dad has tummy muscles." And my son didn't understand why, but it's because my brother-in-law, no offense, brother-in-law, if you're listening, he's fucking fat and out of shape now. And so this kid was blown away by these other superhero dudes with their shirts off and not his own dad, realizing like that's a normalcy. And my boys were like, so?
Right.
Right? Like what is that?
That's how my kids would react. My daughter, every time we're in the presence of anybody at a pool, she makes me like bounce my pecs,
Oh yeah.
you know? And like they're just used to it. Maverick will be like, "My dad's got more muscle than your dad." And like right to his buddy's face. Like and you know, we're used to the culture. We're used to saying like, "Oh, wait, like Mav, don't say that," because you know, we don't want to insult the fat dad. But like I'm at a place in my life right now where I'm like, fuck that. Just send it, bro. I don't care anymore because I'm just to this point where, like you and I were talking, dude, there's a bunch of tourists in town where we live, and I'm watching these dads get out of their minivans and they're just miserable. They're overweight. They got bags under their eyes. They're balding. They get out and they like start smoking a cigarette as the kids are piling out of the car, or they hit their giant fucking vape pens, and and the wife gets out and she looks like she's miserable. And I'm thinking to myself, man, what happened? How many people had to tell that guy that it's okay for you to be a total piece of shit when it comes to your physical body, like your physicality? Who told you that it was just okay to be that way?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was starting to infuriate me. Like I was getting inflamed because that type of leadership is why you and I have a job. It's why we have to coach adult men right now, right? It's because those guys grew up with dads that did a bunch of stuff that was incongruent to what they said was right.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest. They weren't honest with themselves. Work hard. They only worked hard at their job. They did not do anything extracurricular. Be disciplined. They were disciplined in no area of their life, right? So I'm watching these dads now that are my age that look like they're 25 years older than me because they take such bad care of their bodies. They have no discipline. And they're like yelling at their kids. And I just want to walk up and like push them right between the eye and be like, "You're the fucking problem, dude.
Yeah.
You're the problem. Your kids are shitty because you're the problem."
Yep. Dude, it is frustrating. This Sunday, so the very next day, me and my wife, we've been church dating. And we've been going to this one church for about 4 or 5 weeks now. And I finally met one of the pastors who oversees the kids club. And we haven't been dropping our kids off because we don't know anyone. And I was like, "Hey, what do you guys do?" They're like, we do snacks, Jolly Ranchers, Cheez-Its. And I was like, "Why are we giving our kids poison?" He's like, "It's a tool to get them to pay attention." And it's like, it's an hour and a half and you're giving them things that poison them. We already have a gluttony problem, a fork and knife problem in the church. And this dude was overweight. I think he really did not like this conversation.
I'm sure he didn't.
And it's like, and we are going to just put that on them when I was a kid in the 80s, obesity rate was like 7-8%, and now it's close to 25 amongst children. Don't you think it's a leadership issue, not an attention issue? And he was like, "I don't really know what to say, but it's an effective tool." He was caught off guard because no one probably talks to him like that ever. And I'm
No.
the new guy going, "Hey, I think we have a problem here, dude. And if you're the one who oversees this, then that starts with you."
That's the problem too, is that whenever you start talking like this, the culture's instinct is to go, well, you're an asshole. Well, my instinct is to go, well, I kind of think you're an asshole because you're feeding your kids a bunch of crap. And that's one separate issue of this, like what you feed your kids. But on a grand scale, like what we're talking about today is men that they don't understand how important it is for your audio and video to match. That's like the real main root. Like that's the point, right? And boys especially, they will observe the men in their lives that are giving them instruction and then very quickly determine whether that's a reliable source of information. And if it is, they pay attention. And if it's not, they don't. And it's really that simple. So we're at baseball today at Mavs private lessons, and there's another dad there with us, and he's balding, heavy. You know, I can hear him breathing just sitting in the fucking chair next to me. Just sloppy, overall sloppy appearance. And his son is getting after it. And, you know, he missed a couple things here and there, and his dad starts getting on him. You know, this is why we can't come here anymore. I'm tired of paying this kind of money, and you don't put any extra effort. And bro, you know me. It took everything for me not to just look over and be like, who are you talking to? You should be talking to yourself. That should be your own inner dialogue. Instead, you're saying that to your son. Look at you, bro. Look at you. You're telling me, or you're telling your son that he's undisciplined. And I'm looking at you. And I don't even know if you changed out of your pajamas to come to this. You're disgusting. And it disgusts me. And I think that the bigger thing here, Jesse, is it disgusts me, and I'm vocal about it because I've gotten that sin in my life under control. And that's what we should be doing. When we get sin under control in our life and we're walking the walk, we should be telling the truth in love to dudes that haven't figured it out yet.
It's literally Matthew 7:5. Literally Matthew 7:5. Everyone gets stuck on Matthew 7:1, do not judge. But 7:5 says once you got your shit together in that order, then you can go take the plank out of your brother's eye. Jesus said it himself.
Clear? 100%. Are we clear, guys? Are you listening to me? Don't let prosperity preachers and all these fake Christians who take one or two scriptures out of context so that they can justify their own behavior when they want to chastise you. If you're getting that from your pastor, then you're going to turn around and do that to your son and then wonder why at 20 he tells you to fuck off. Because Dad, you don't do any of the things, right? My dad for so long was really on me about being honest, and then I watched my dad deceive everybody. And then I grew up with an honesty problem. And then he wonders why I'm annoyed. Again, and we've talked about this, bro, but like you got kids wearing jerseys of another adult men that they deem their heroes, while the dad is just a dead man walking. I'll tell you this, Jesse, I'll never buy my son a jersey of another guy.
I've never done it. Not once.
Like, not gonna happen. My mom bought my son an Ohtani jersey, and he wears it occasionally. And in some strange, ironic way, like that's a jersey I don't mind him wearing. He's Japanese. Those people have the utmost respect for themselves, their bodies, their discipline. You want to wear an Ohtani jersey? Fine, by all means. Because he and I are about as disciplined as one another. I'll die on that hill. But like you got dads who are just, my gosh, I'm going to cut loose with the 4-letter words because this is pissing me off. But these fucking guys are disgusting. I don't know any other way to describe it. I'm just disgusted when I look at a guy with these droopy bags under his eyes because he just lays in bed and watches porn next to his wife while she's asleep until 2 a.m. So he's watching porn, he's drinking, smoking cigarettes, eating Oreos, sleeping in, not working out, and then yells at his kid for being undisciplined.
Yeah, these men don't realize their kid eventually is going to have zero respect for them. They're going to get to an age where they find out who their parent truly, truly is, especially the father figures. It's so much more important that they, again, audio matches visual, right? They actually enact what they preach, because you don't know what age your kid's going to figure you out and figure out that you're full of shit. Because if it's 8, you're going to try and use your authority, your voice, your threatening, maybe spanking as your enforcement versus the actual way you carry yourself, that he wants to be like you and respect you because you're his idol, right? I tell my kids, like, who are you? Their identities in God. But the reality is they still don't, I don't think 100% get the concept of that, because they're like, but I want to be like you, Dad. And it's like, you don't need to be like me, but they want to be like me in a way because I just do everything. They see me on the treadmill. They don't see me lift because I go really early, but if they ever ask, I'll show them a deadlift video. This was actually yesterday. And they're like, how much is that? And I'll tell them that was 425. They're like, so, like, how much is that, though? Because that sounds like a lot. I'm like, that's like 5 of Mom or whatnot, 4 of Mom, or
You better be
fucking,
careful with
yeah.
how you
Yeah,
describe
yeah,
that.
yeah, I can squat you, Mom, brother, and Winston all at the same time. And
That's
they're
like,
like,
hey,
what?
buddy, all the furniture in our house, add that up together. That's what that is.
Yeah. And so, like, they understand that I do that. And they'll even ask, did you work out today? And it's like, bro, I worked out, right?
100%.
I'll even take a picture every day just in case at the gym, just in case they ask. I'm like, bro, I got the freaking receipts right here. But my whole point is your kid is going to figure you out. And if men want to be respected, that's all we want, is to be desired and respected, right? Whether it be by our wife, peers, children, we want to be respected. So if we're not taking care of ourselves, how does anyone respect? If you're not in your masculinity, if you're not in being a man of discipline, how many men actually want to pursue you to be in their tribe? If the zombie apocalypse coming tomorrow, is your phone ringing because they want you in their tribe? Or they're like, dude, that dude's dead weight. He can't even go up the stairs carrying groceries without having to take a breather. Like,
Yep.
where are you at in life? And too many men they think, oh, it's worldly. It's not worldly. 1 Timothy 4:8, Paul talks about how physical exercise, and in that Greek word, he's talking about gymnasium, how the gym is very important, but we want our identity in Christ. That's more important. And the culture he was talking to was a Greco-Roman culture where they rigorously worked out and wrestled all day. These dudes were jacked. They were fucking killers. And yet he's telling these guys, hey, that's important. Keep doing it, but make sure that God is number one, not yourself. And people will read that and he'll be like, oh, it says of little value. You got to understand the culture. These were murderers, right? Think of the best team guys that there are. That's who those dudes were, who he was talking to. And yet he's like, that is important. It is very important. It was part of their culture, what they did all day. So don't take it as, no, it doesn't matter. Paul says it doesn't matter. Yeah, he does. You just don't understand the context.
The people that say it doesn't matter are lazy.
Yeah.
Straight up, like, call it what it is. They're lazy. You're going to tell me, you're going to misuse and misquote scripture so that it justifies your lazy ass behavior. And Christian men, of all men, should be the ones that are on fire to be as fit as they possibly can. You're the resume. You're the walking resume for what? Okay, you call yours. So atheists go, okay, you call yourself a Christian and you think that I should be disciplined enough to read the word and this, that, and the other, but you have no discipline yourself. Look at you. You have no discipline to go to sleep. You have no discipline to wake up early. You have no discipline to say no at the dinner table. You have no discipline to say no when it comes to your money. You have no discipline to say no about what you watch. You have no discipline, no discipline, no discipline, no discipline. And they gather that by taking one look at you. Don't judge a book by the cover is one of the dumbest sayings I've ever heard, along with happy wife, happy life. How about, no. I'm going to judge every book by its cover. I look at books and I look at the cover, and if that's not a cool cover, then I don't give a shit about the book. That's why marketers spend so much money on market research and data analysis, what catches someone's eye. Don't judge a book by its cover is a lazy cover for men who want to justify their behavior.
Completely.
I get guys in my DMs, Jesse, they're like, hey, what advice do you have? Like, I want to start my Instagram to make it the way yours is, and I want to have an impact, and I want to share the word with people. And I take a look at their profile, and then I message them back and I go, hey, just let me know real quick, like after you look at yourself, tell me, would you want to follow that guy? Would you, do you want to be you? Look at yourself from a 50,000-foot view or like outside of your own body, come across your own Instagram page and tell me what parts about you make you want to follow yourself.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm like, are you in the best shape of your life? Well, no, I mean, I'm working on that. Well, then don't open your mouth to say what somebody else should do until you get that really buttoned up, my man. That's my advice for you. And they get really mad at me, Jesse. They get mad at me. And I'm in this place in my life now because I'm getting so much more solidified with who I am in Christ's name that I just don't give a shit. I just don't care. Be mad at me. Stay mad at me. I'm going to go do my life, which is exactly what you see on the internet, because I am who I am there and off camera. Ask my wife. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing while you're hating me for just being open and honest, even though it hurts your little feelings. And then who's going to be stuck 10 years from now going, well, fuck, dude, like, I don't have anything, like, I'm not lucky. I'm not going to be saying any of those things. You're not going to be saying those things. We're raising warrior kids. We're leading warrior women. We're running a warrior business. And it's because we stopped lying to ourselves and giving ourselves the excuse that, it doesn't really matter if I got a couple extra notches on the belt as I'm up in front of my entire congregation talking to them about spiritual discipline and how important it is that Jesus said when you fast, not if you fast. Bro, you haven't fasted a day in your life. I can tell. Look at you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And don't judge a book by its cover. I'm pretty sure, again, Matthew 7:5, right? You're judging out of love because you can see that plank because you've already fulfilled and worked on that area.
Conquered it.
Yeah. There's Jesus judges the guy at the wedding going, hey, why do you look like this? Why do you dress this way? Because he knows that the guy has the ability to dress nicer and he chose not to deliberately.
Right.
The wealthy guy who wants to follow him, he says, you don't got what it takes. He goes, what do you mean? I'll do anything. He goes, you don't got what it takes, bro. He judged him. He knew who that guy was before. And then what happened? The dude took all his shit and walked away because he didn't have what it takes.
How mean of Jesus, Jesse. Jesus is a dick for saying that.
Yeah, so anyone thinks that there is no judge, bro, he's the judge of judges. Think that
because he lived a
can't
sinless
judge.
life.
Yeah.
Because he lived a sinless life and he knew the cost. Because for those that think that Jesus had no temptation, you're wrong. So he lived a sinless life in the face of temptation and therefore is qualified to judge. So you and I both don't struggle with pornography anymore. We did. We do not anymore.
Amen.
I'm like almost 5 years sober. It's my duty to judge men so that I can help them. I'm not judging you, bro, to step on your bones as I climb to the top of the ladder. I'm judging you so I can tell you this is the truest form of love. I love you enough to tell you, you should stop watching that in your house, especially if you have a daughter, because you're leaving the door wide open for the enemy to slay everyone in your house. Don't you think that's a pretty reasonable reason, for lack of a better term, to just tell somebody to stop doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, we're judging you to tell you you don't got what it takes, but if you are willing to be open to this, you can come along with us because we know the way, right? Come with us.
100%. We're like Paul. Follow me as I follow Christ. Don't follow me because I'm a shitbag and I just have cool stuff. I'm not Andrew Tate. Don't follow me because I got a Bugatti. Follow me because I've slain a major pain point in 99% of men's lives, pornography. I've conquered that because Christ has infiltrated every aspect of my heart. That's why you should follow me, not because I'm just screaming in front of some microphone that I purchased at Best Buy that now makes me a podcaster. Like, no, we figured some shit out. And for the physicality piece for men, let me just see if I can hammer this home in the context that men might be able to figure out. I'm in Disney World. We've talked about this before. I see these fat fucking dads on their motorized carts scooting around, right? And I think to myself, you have children and a wife. And if I want what you have, you can't even get out of that chair to stop. I think you and I are to a place in our lives with our physicality, with our walks with Christ, that like, if nobody starts judging people, then we're all the blind leading the blind.
Mhm.
If we all just go, well, everyone's going to go right to Matthew 7:1, like, well, I can't judge because, if Jesus said not to judge. And if we just stay with that misquoted misinterpretation of what Christ meant, then that means that all of us are going to walk around and no one's going to be telling anybody anything. And that's a recipe for disaster. I was saying that at Disney World, I see these men in these carts because they're so fat that they have to drive around on a cart because walking is too hard on them, and they're raising kids. What are they able to tell their kids about being physical and having physicality and being athletic and how important that is, and sports, and what you can learn from that? And what are they going to tell their kids that their kids can look at them and go, I can believe that. My dad's done that.
Mhm. Yeah, they're not gonna be able to.
They can't.
And let's say they did something good in high school, college. Is their kid actually gonna believe them because they're not in high school, college anymore, right? It's like, "What do you mean? Are you sure, dad? Mom, did dad really do that? He's
It's not
shaped like a
only,
bowling ball."
yeah, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous because I've mentioned this before, but like, the protector in me of my kids, I know that I don't present myself as a soft target. It's why I don't have a lot of altercations. I'm not a soft target. So anybody that's going to go punk some dad is probably going to pass me up. I'm not trying to be conceited or like overly confident. It's just, that's the byproduct of looking like you give a shit about yourself. Right. And I look at these men and I'm like, it's unsafe and irresponsible, because if somebody wants your children, they can just take them. What are you going to do? Like, put your hover round into overdrive and like chase after them? Like, yeah, we can make fun of it and poke fun, but like, that's the severity of the situation. That's the problem. And that we have a society that goes, you're fat shaming them. Yeah. Yes, I am. I'm glad you're paying attention at least to that.
Yeah.
I am, because it's irresponsible. You have kids, right? Everybody would agree, if you see a parent driving down the road and they've got kids in the back seat and all the windows are up and they're smoking a cigarette, you'd be like, you selfish motherfucker.
Yeah.
And yet, nobody says that when you see two fat, disgusting behemoth parents walking around with their fat kids, and we're not allowed to say anything to them because, well, you're fat shaming them. I contest that it's worse, it's more egregious to feed your kids a bunch of shit food than it is to ride around in the car smoking cigarettes with them. It might be worse to feed them bad food.
Mhm.
Yet, because the government says that nicotine is so bad for you and that'll kill you. And well, fine. I mean, there's whatever. Let's not argue that. But so will stuffing your face to the point you get physically ill. And that's the part where I'm just tired of it. And it's not just food. It's these dads that are drinking, smoking cigarettes, not working out, watching pornography, eating shit food, not sleeping, treating their wives terribly, being bad in business. You name it. I can look at these men and go, you do none of what you say, and you're having a hard time with your son
Yeah.
because he doesn't respect you.
And who's the ultimate example? I'm gonna go with Jesus. You believe in the shroud of Turin?
Yes.
Okay, me too. I totally do. Even though it's not in the scripture, well, technically he did get a shroud from, what was his name? Nicodemus? Didn't it? It wasn't
Nicodemus.
Nicodemus? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we believe the shroud of Turin, he was maybe 5'10" to 5'11", and 175 to 180 pounds. Think about how freaking yoked he would have been, because the amount of walking he was doing, he's lean, man. He got a thin waist, probably had thin joints. He probably looked impressive and intimidating, right?
Good teeth, good hair, good
Yeah,
skin. Like those are all byproducts of eating real food, walking around, being outside with your shirt off, doing
jawline.
manual labor, being a shepherd, being a carpenter.
Yeah, and if you think about Luke 4:28, when he walks through the crowd, he's not this 5'7" plumpy doughboy who's calling everyone on their shit. No, he was, we'd even say just 5'10", 175 pounds. Like, bro, you got a physique on you, right?
Right.
You're like some of these young Instagram kids. And it's like, wow, that dude has a physique. He took care of himself.
Jesus was like a young LA model. Like, you know, that fitness clothing brand? Like I see 5'10", 175-pound dudes. And I'm like, fucking kid is jacked.
Yeah.
Like that kid is stout. Like I love it. Right. I love that. The only benefit I'll tell you is that because of social media, I'm seeing a return to physicality. Like men are like starting to look around and they're going like that fat, like chubby ass dude yapping away on Instagram, I can't take serious. But this 170-pound kid that's like, hey, dude, like you should be able to do 20 muscle ups. Like there's something to that.
Yeah. Or even the dad who's in shape with multiple kids, because everyone's like, yeah, just wait till you have kids. All right. The dads who are in shape with kids, it's like, okay, now what's your excuse? And it doesn't negatively impact my family. When I'm done with the gym, my family's not even awake. So, like, what is your excuse, man? What is your excuse? There's one day a week where I go when they're awake. One day. Other than that, they're asleep. This morning I was there at 6 a.m. Back before 7:30. They're not awake. So there's no negative impact in me putting in the work because my family's asleep.
And my schedule's a little differently. Because you know we homeschool, I work out at my house quite a bit. So my impact is different. I don't work out that early in the morning most times. Most times if I'm working out, I get a run in, but if I'm lifting weights, my I'm doing it at a time when my kids can see me. I'll say, "Hey, my son will be like, "Hey, Dad, do you want to play a little Fortnite right now?" And I say, "Hey, bud, right now I actually got to go pound some weights." So as soon as I'm done, if you've done your homework too, which is most often physical, if you've done your homework, I do mine, we get it done together, then we'll play some Fortnite, right? You know, it's just men have not figured this out. Like you made a really good point earlier about respect. And the best way to raise good kids is to do everything that you say they should be doing. If you can master that, you won't have to take a belt to your kid's ass. You won't have to scream at your kids. Because if you have authority over your own life, you can then have authority over somebody else's. God-given authority too, right? Like as a parent, I should have authority over my kid. No man has authority over my life. That's
Mhm.
not what I mean. What I'm saying is that if I look at my son and I say, hey, get your shoes, we're going for a run. I already told you once. His ass is up. Like that's it. I've communicated to him. He knows the expectation. He knows that I'm not telling him to do anything I haven't done. And in fact, I'm about to go do it with him. There's no argument. There's no way to argue. But if you've got a fat, sloppy dad that says to his son, hey, don't eat Oreos. They're disgusting for you. Shut up. Shut up,
Yeah.
dude. Shut
Yeah.
up.
I've seen it at our wrestling. Dad mocking his son for the push ups that he does. And the kid's like maybe 10, scrawny, can't really do a couple push ups. And it's like, dude, this dude looks like he's never done a push up in his life. And I'm like,
That's
that's so
blasphemy.
embarrassing. Yeah. I feel bad for that kid.
Yeah, and I have secondhand embarrassment for the dads too, because and in my area too, it's like all these baseball dads, they get together and they're all the same guy. They're just overweight, overworked, unhappy, watching pornography, all the things, right? And they all get together and they don't like me. I'm a thorn in their side just because of who I am. And so they ask their kids to do the things that they're not willing to do themselves. And then they wonder why there's problems. And, the reason why we were touching on this topic is because I had it. I called you and I was fucking bitching away about it because I'm over it. And another point to make is I also observed the look on the wives' faces, right? So a wife would be getting out of the car and she'd hear her husband yelling at their son, like, hurry up, like, let's go. And then the dad's like walking around with his fucking Crocs and socks and smoking a cigarette. And the mom's like, the look on her face was like, you're screaming at him to do something that you're not willing to do. And it's like disgusting.
Yeah. They're all miserable. That quiet desperation. But
I
you can see
guarantee
it on them.
you 100%. I guarantee you none of them have sex. Like that's another fact that I don't need to know you. I can take one good look at you and know if you're having sex or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, the data already on married couples is like less than once a month. And then there's a big chunk of like 40% who have it like twice a year,
Isn't
right?
That's wild.
And then it just like, I've pulled it up once and talked about it on a call. It's crazy. And it's, whose fault do you think it is? Who at the end of the day is God going to call on? He's going to call on the man. Hey, dude, how was it leading that household? He's like, and that guy's going to be like, you gave me a wife who would never fuck me. He's like, no, actually, that's not how it played out, bud.
No, actually, like, whoop, here's a mirror. Look at it.
Yeah.
Not just your physical appearance, but look at who you are.
Yeah.
Who are you? And whose are you? We've touched on this a million times. What's your identity? Whose are you? Man, I'm Jesus's. That alone means that I better walk differently. Because if I'm going to flap my gums and talk about that, then atheists and people who are agnostic or whatever it is, they're going to look at me and they're going to go, see, he's this, or see, so his God that he serves lets him look like that. Like, no, that's a misrepresentation of who Jesus is. For you to look like that and say you are who you are, that's a bad rap for Jesus.
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah.
And that's why I'm offended.
Because we get caught up in are you actually lukewarm by having that attitude of like, it's okay. We're just fine. We're fine. Right. I still love Jesus just as much as you do, even though I'm like 305. And it's like, but do you?
But do you? That's the real question. Are you? It's like that meme. You sure about that? You sure? Because I'm sure somewhere along the lines, as you were stuffing your face or drinking that drink, you felt a little ping. If you're a Christian, then the Spirit has tried to talk to you about this. So are you sure you love him? Because if you love Christ, then you will obey him. And there's no other way of getting around that. If you love your wife, then you won't cheat on her. Men that cheat on their wives and say, but I love my wife, are lying. So if you love Jesus, then you'll obey him. And nowhere does it say anything about Jesus being okay with you having no standards for yourself whatsoever and never having any desire to physically carry yourself in a manner that's respectable.
Yeah. And being fat is just so new, right? There wasn't fat people when Jesus was around. It wasn't a thing. Food abundance is very new to the human body. And in the Bible, the amount of times it tells us to surrender and obey, but yet as a culture, it's really sad that we've gotten to this point where we don't have to obey or surrender our fork and knife.
There's so much food out there because we make fake food. Understand this, asshole. You're not over consuming real food. Right? Like I had like 3 huge strips of skirt steak marinated in chimichurri last night, along with chicken breasts, strawberries, and Parmesan Reggiano with honey. I could only eat so much of it. I stuffed as much of it in as I could because that was like my second meal of the day. That was all I ate. Like, men are not stuffing themselves on that. They're stuffing themselves on fake food. It's fake. You don't have to eat all that. And that, Jesse, is the problem, because physically we don't look the part, and we're trying to convince young boys to do what we do and follow us. How does that work out? How can that work out? We've talked about this when it comes to coaching coaches. I just gave a talk to a football team. I'm talking to the team and I'm looking at the coaches and I'm thinking to myself, man, are any of you, if you were going to really be honest and self-assess, do any of you feel like you look the part of somebody that has been really hyper-disciplined, hyper-focused, goes the extra mile, does the extra thing, shows up early, stays late? Do you really put in all the effort? Do you have a good relationship with your wife? Or do your kids love and respect you? Your own blood kids, not the kids you coached, the kids you raised, and some of them are divorced. This is not a knock on these guys, but some of them are divorced. Some of them are overweight. Some of them are struggling with pornography and all this other crazy stuff. And it's like, your team's bad because you're bad. Just like your marriage is bad because you're bad. Your kids are undisciplined because you're not disciplined. Your business isn't working out because you're not working out. And the genesis of this podcast and the Ascent for Men and everything that we freaking do is to help men understand two things. One, Jesse and I, we're going to judge you. We've removed a lot of planks in our own eye, and we're coming for you. I'm not going to let you hide. I'm over it. Jesse's over it. And we don't fucking feel bad for you. So don't send emails to us that we're not going to read. Okay? Period. And number two, we're qualified because we've removed a lot of shit in our life that we made excuses for too long. And if nobody has the balls to get in your face about the shit that you do, that you excuse, well, then you're going to live this life forever. And guess what? You're going to die. And you're going to wonder why you're living a life of hell and misery when you could have been in the kingdom and had enough people had the balls that Jesse and I are trying to have with you to tell you that you're wrong. And the reason why your son disrespects you is because of you. And the reason why your wife disrespects you is because of you. We're not doing our jobs. Jesse and I are going to stand before the Creator, and he's going to go, hey, I gave you a bunch of business opportunities. I gave you a voice and a platform. What'd you do with it? Who'd you save? Whose face did you get in on my name's sake? Who'd you bring with you? Look around. Turn around behind you. Are you by yourself? Huh? Or are you with men that you drug because you stood up to them and you weren't worried about being the bad guy and the mean guy? So if you're driving around in your truck and your feelings are hurt by what we said, I don't care. If you got a nasty gram to send me, send it. I'm not going to read it. I'm not convicted. I'm very convicted positively in what we're doing. Our job is to do this because we love you. And we're tired of watching you waste away the life that God gave you. I wasted my life for long enough. And now that I don't, I'm experiencing almost a return of the garden on this side of eternity. And I want that for you. Jesse wants that for you. That's why we have hard conversations here. That's why we poke and prod you, maybe so that you'll get off your ass and you'll go, I don't want to be poked and prodded like that anymore. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So the next time I listen to a podcast like this, I'm sitting in my truck going, fuck yeah, hell yeah. I got my shit under control. These guys are crushing it. Instead of, man, that really hurts my feelings. You're fat shaming me, or you're whatever. We don't care. I don't care. Jesse doesn't care. I'm not convicted on it. And I'm in the Word enough to know whether God's telling me I shouldn't be talking like this and I shouldn't be doing this. If you're fat and you're lazy and you're out of shape and you keep telling your kids to be in shape, to be able to do push-ups, if you're fat, lazy, and dishonest and you are mad at your kids because they lie to you, the problem's you, bro. Turn this podcast off. Go walk into your bathroom and look at yourself long enough in the mirror to be fully disgusted with what you see. Disgusted enough to where you call Jesse and I and you go, guys, help me. I don't care what the cost is. I don't care what it costs. Help me. I'm over it. I'm done with this. Once you do that, then your life is going to start. Right now, you're already dead. You want to come back to life? Do exactly what I just recommended that you do. Give us a call so we can help you. your life will start at that moment. God bless.